Hey guys, incontinence and diapers. This is what I've had to live with for 13 years. Now, most people, when they see people that need to wear diapers, they shame them, they turn their heads, and it's it's not really that great, to be perfectly honest. Um, when incontinence happens to you, because of how the world reacts, you feel small. You feel like you need to go hide in a corner because society is not going to accept you for who you are. Um, but there's people out there that are trying to make a difference, you know? Uh, Wearing a diaper is no different than having to wear a knee brace, having to wear a back brace, having to take medication. It's it's a medical device to help people live their lives. But the problem is that because of the incontinence and having to wear diapers, it is the most embarrassing thing that anybody would have to endure, or so they think. So it can be very difficult. It's been 13 years, I've gotten used to it. So let's start with a short story of how this happened and why society just needs to be more adaptive to people with needs. So 13 years ago, I was 31 or 32, and I started having urgency to go take a piss. Well, I wasn't making it to the washroom. I was having a horrible time having to bring a change of clothes with me everywhere I went. It wasn't a good scene. It was really embarrassing. Wetting myself in my 30s. What is going on? I go to my doctors. I tell him what's happening. And he tests. He gives me the test, check my prostate. He tells me that my prostate is swollen. He's going to send me over to the urologist. And we're going to go from there. Well, it took me a couple of months before I could get into the urologist. So all the while, what I'm still doing is, wetting myself, not knowing what to do. So I went back to my doctor, called him, and he suggested to wear pull-ups as a temporary measure until the urologist can figure out what's going on. So I tried pull-ups. Embarrassed because now I'm wearing a diaper. But is it better than wetting myself where people can see what's happening? Yeah, when you look at it in that aspect, absolutely. So, that's what I did. Problem is, pull-ups don't work for full loss bladder control. They leak, which is just as embarrassing as pissing your pants. And I'm obviously trying to be discreet because I don't want people to know, right? So next, I went to briefs, tape on. And you start with the big brands, depends. They're horrible. I really don't know why their brand is so big because they don't absorb anything. One wetness and you got to change the dang thing. And the plastic, oh my god, it's noisy. There's no discretion whatsoever other than they're thin. And that's it. They're no good. I had to go searching. There was a company by the name of Abina, made in Canada. Not sold in stores, not sold in drug stores. I could only find them, they were sold in the States, but they're made in Canada. What was going on with that? And they were a better brief. So eventually I started going to Shoppers Home Healthcare to go get some better briefs. They were called Tenna. They were green. Uh, those were much better than the Depends, 100%. They were cloth back, so they were silent, and they were thin, and maybe 2 wettings, and that was about it, and they would have to be changed. But it was... I thought the adventure was going to be short-lived. I didn't think it was going to be a permanent thing. But this is why it needs to be talked about. I'll give it into more of the story later. But incontinence and diapers, society shouldn't shun people that do that, because it's necessity. Try to hide it as much as we can so that nobody has any idea what the heck's happening. If I wet myself out in public, nobody knows except me. That's the beginning of this story. True life events. The reason why this is pointing to the floor is because that's how small I felt when all this was starting, to the point that I didn't want to be seen. I just wanted to crawl into a corner and die, right? The most embarrassing thing has to happen. But it's all a learning experience. You learn from your experiences, you move on with your life. Anyways, guys, have yourself a great night. Thanks for watching.